My name is Joe Connarroe. I'm an ordained minister. I will not be preaching to you this morning because then I have to take up an offering, and I certainly don't want to do that. This is the first time I've ever done this. And some of the jokes that you'll be hearing are the ones that some of my friends out here have already told you. But I have a bad memory, so I'll tell them, and I'm assuming you have a bad memory too. I do have a plan. I tried to get everything down so I know where I was. And let's see, this is September the 16th. I should be someplace else, I think. Oh well. I have a couple of Christian jokes. I don't have any bad ones. They're all good. But a favorite of mine is the preacher was preaching, or wherever you go to church, and I hope you go somewhere. And he was preaching and just preached, and boy, everybody was saying amen and raising their hands, almost good enough to take up a collection. But he went on, and finally a guy in about the third pew from the right, he saw he had fallen asleep. And so he announced to all the rest of the people here, says, now, somebody's fallen asleep or I'm going to wake him up. And so he walked over to him, and he was sound asleep. One of those long, powerful snores coming right just enough to entertain a whole congregation. And so he leaned down to him and said, everybody wants to go to heaven, stand up. And he stood up, and of course the preacher was standing there, and he says, I guess you want to go to heaven. He says, yeah, preacher, just you and me is all standing up. My father-in-law used to raise chickens, and my wife Sue went out there one day, and I think they cut up about 50 chickens for the freezer. And he said, I guess I better buy a freezer to put all these away. But he ordered it through the mail. Now, if you've ever ordered chickens through the mail, you may know how funny this really is, and so you laugh real loud. But he got them from up at Lebanon, and they come in a little boxes about 3 by 3 by 6. And there's supposed to be about 25 baby chickens in there. No eggs, just chickens. And so he'd bring them home and put them out in the brooder house, I think that's what they called them, and turned the light bulb on and left them. Well, a week later, they all died. So he went back and says, I need some more chickens. All those died. He said, well, did you follow instructions? Well, of course I followed instructions. Okay, we'll order you some more. So next week they came in. So he took the other 12 chickens and took them out and put them in the house. And pretty soon they all died. So the third time he went back, says, no, I can't get you any more chickens. Now you killed all of them. I didn't kill any of them. Maybe I just planted them too deep. One of my favorites is a hunting story. I see some of you have dropped off already. You'll like this one. This friend of George, he went out and George says, I got a new dog. I want to show you. Is it a good hunting dog? Well, they said he's a good one. You got a good one? I got a good one. Well, let's go see what we're going to do with him. So he went out there, and there was his dog. He says, let me show you what he can do. So he released a bird, and it flew up, and he shot it. That dog just perked up his nose, looked out there, and started walking on top of the water to go pick it up. Picked it up, brought back. He says, what do you think of that? Can he do it again? Well, sure he can. So he did the same thing again. There was a bird that had been shot, so his little dog got up and walked on top of the water, went right out there and picked it up and brought her back. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. You notice anything different about my dogs? Is, well, yeah, he can't swim. Don't tell this one nobody knows. Oh, this is one when I was training to be a minister, we'd have separate classes on what to say and what not to do. If you're ever at a dance and somebody comes up and real fat and wants to dance, you try to find something nice to say. So this guy whispered in this girl's ear, man, you don't sweat much for a fat woman. Some of my favorite comedians used to have a whole bunch of shows. We went to see one at Purdue Music Hall, and then I bought one of his records. This is a little excerpt from his record about what would happen if your fire department was run like everything else. What would happen if your fire department was run like everything else? The scene opens by the fire chief sitting there at his desk answering the phone. It goes something like this. Well, fire department, may we help you? You got a fire where? I'm sorry, we don't have any trucks in that area today. Can you wait tomorrow? No, I can't do that either. Okay, well, we'll put your address down there. Next time we have a truck in the area, we'll come by and see what's left. Now, of course, things can't be run that way, but it was funny when I heard it. This one takes place in a prison. Now, our son works in a prison. I say works. He goes in there and teaches Bible and gets them out, tries to get them a job, tries to get them into a church. And this took place in a jail some time ago. Now, I can't verify its truth, but boy, it sure sounds real. They were having a riot, and they finally narrowed it down to one man, prisoner 207. And the chaplain said, I think I can go out and do him some good. I'm the chaplain here. Well, okay, go ahead. So he goes outside and says, come on, buddy, let's talk. All right, we'll talk. You remember me? I'm the chaplain. Yeah. Well, I've come out to try to talk you out of this foolish thing you're about to do. Yeah. But let's go over one of my sermons real quick. He said, make it quick. So he told him about a sermon, and the guy really liked it. And he says, well, I'll give up. I'll let all these men go back to their jail cells, and you can have it. He says, oh, by the way, you are a Catholic, aren't you? Sure, no, I'm a Methodist. No harm meant to anybody that's not a Catholic or a Methodist. In the Air Force, when you go into a plane to sit down, that's your seat until somebody throws up in it or you have to leave. And so this airplane was flying along pretty good, and there were just 4 parachutes left when it decided to go down. Well, it didn't decide to go down, they had to go down. And so there were 5 people, passengers. So he said, well, we'll just have to draw a straw. So they all drew a straw. And one man, he was from England, he said, I got one here, give me the parachute. So he put the parachute on and jumped. Opened up, fine, saw him float down. 4 left, 3 parachutes. Another one said, I'm from Japan. I go bad in World War II. I go now. So he puts the chute on, he jumps out, and his chute opened. So there was just 2 guys left, a northerner and a southerner. And the southerner said, well, what will we do? Flip for it? And the man says, no, here's what we'll do. You put this on. No, let me put her on. And so he put her on and says, and then went over to the opening where the southerner was standing. He pushed him out. Long live the North. That one, because you've heard that one too many times. Last one, this is an experience that many preachers hope they never find out about. You get all sorts of rules about, when you get through preaching, stop. You don't have a clock, watch the calendar behind you, all sorts of little clever things. So one day this new preacher was going to the hospital to visit a lady who had been there for a while. So he walked up the door. Ellen Jones. Yeah, this is it. So he knocked on walked right in and said, well, Mrs. Jones, nice to see you're sitting up today. And the nurse came over and says, of course she's sitting up. She's on the bedpan. Thank you for your attention.